She's pretending as though, oh my gosh, more women would come out and support me. More women would narcissistically deny reality if only they didn't call me out for my reality denial. Pokimane couldn't hold back from yet again espousing her narcissism and delusion on the internet. But Pokimane is such a delusional narcissist, and she spends her entire world in a community that has literally been selected for. Any person that disagrees with her has been removed over a decade, over years and years. So her entire chat is filled, as I said before, with simps, white knights, fat women who hate their lives, and women who want to be victims. Basically, any group of person that wants to be a victim in order to gain status in the hierarchy of the radical left, in the hierarchy of identity politics, is a Pokimane fan, and it's crazy. Just listen to this degeneracy. There are so many moments in this video that I'm gonna pause because it's so crazy. Okay.
More women around you who are. You need more women around you who are willing to talk. You know what the sad truth is?
This comment that she's responding to is basically alleging identity politics from the start, because it's saying if there were more women like you, they would by default agree with you that they are oppressed, because anyone that criticizes you by default hates women. But guess what? If you criticize Pokimane, it's not because you hate women. It's because she's a blatant narcissist and absolutely insane. This has been going on for years, but it really is frustrating when you see it, because it is being directed at the websites that are. It is being directed at the efforts to fix culture, like free speech, like, Kick, like freedom of expression platforms, and it is so disgusting. Dude,
you need more women around you who are willing to talk. You know what the sad truth?
And there's that tinge of the alleged victimhood and the alleged status as a result of identity politics, like women that are willing to talk, women that are willing to courageously come out and say men that disagree with me are misogynists, men that disagree with me hate women. It is a cult. It is a cult of narcissistic reality denial. And this is just so insipid.
Truth is, the way that people treat me deters any other woman in this space.
Oh my god, that's so toxic. Dude, she's pretending as though, oh my gosh, more women would come out and support me. More women would narcissistically deny reality if only they didn't call me out for my reality denial. Men that disagree with Pokimane are doing it because she's an insipid narcissist and is toxically and degenerately feminine. And by toxically and degenerately feminine, I'm talking about denying reality and having no corrective pillars in her life. There are no corrective pillars, not even in her chat, because she's, removed over the years, she's removed any person that disagrees with them. And this is what a lot of these pathetic streamers do, is they will remove any person from their chat that disagrees with them. And harassment is one thing, but it's crazy the fact that these people would, it's super crazy.
Genuinely talking about their honest opinions, or behaving how they probably really want to, because they recognize the treatment that they can expect.
Dude, this is exactly what you would expect from a degenerate feminine personality who denies reality. Women don't want to be like me. They are bad people for this. They are not part of my virtue status class as a result of not being like me. And the reason they're not like me is because they don't want to be victimized in the same way I am. These people will pretend as though they are victims to the end of the earth, even when everyone can tell they're not victims. Pokimane, people were making fun of you. People are mocking you because you are talking down on free speech in the most insipid way. And it is clear that your motivations are immoral. It is clear that your motivations are to demonize anyone that would disagree with the radical left-wing cult and support a platform where people can disagree with you. To these people, disagreement is violence. To these, it's actually true, and it's important you understand this. To these types of people that are possessed by the radical left-wing resentment, to the identity politics, to the adherence to clubs, disagreement is equivalent to violence. Disagreement is, and as a matter of fact, they would rather face violence, because then they could actually pretend as though they are the victims, because then they'd be the victims of something. But if you're just being disagreed with, you're not actually a victim of anything, but they pretend as though they are. because they can't back up any of their ideas. The reason why Pokimane is, looking so insipid and disgusting and denying reality is because she wants anyone who disagrees with women being held up on a pedestal, with radical feminism, powered by the resentment of Marxism. Any person that doesn't agree with that or stand up for that to be demonized, to be called a bad person, to be labeled a bad person. That's what Pokimane wants. That's the reason why she's demonizing and attacking Kick. Because Kick is not only pillaging the talent from the big streamers from Twitch, her side, but it is removing the monopoly of radical left-wing. It's removing the monopoly of the left-wing ecosystem that is Twitch. It's removing the monopoly from the left. And so the left is losing power. Remember, the left only sees things in terms of power. So to them, they only recognize the fact that they're losing power. And to them, this can only mean that evil oppressors are taking away their power in order to oppress them in a way that is truly predatory and corrupt. Because to the radical left, they can only see disparities in power because they divide people into groups, and this is the only way they can garner counterfeit virtue. It is so disgusting and insipid. Also notice how Pokimane is just, dude, so disgusting. All of this creates more and more and more resentment.
You know what the sad truth is? The way that people treat me deters any other woman in this space.
The way people treat me. I'm a victim. They callously and unjustly hold me accountable for the things that I say in the most insipid, narcissistic tone possible, talking down to anyone who would dare sign to Kick, the free speech platform that allows people to remove the monopoly of the radical left-wing regime and ecosystem. I talk down on them because free speech is cringe, and anyone that would sign a deal for millions of dollars with Kick is essentially an enemy. They're essentially whoring themselves for free speech and money. So corrupt and cringe. Remember that video? Remember that video, the one that she got lambasted for across the internet? Dude, you can't make this up. I'm glad that this is happening so people can see it. I'm glad people can see the. I'm glad Pokimane is so detached from reality, so narcissistic, and so believing that people should agree with her or they're bad people, because it allows her to display for all to see the unabashed narcissism of the left, so that we can notice their identity politics, so that we can see the game that they're playing and reject it. So the people that disagree with you aren't bad people. No, you're not a good person just because you're saying that people who disagree with you are misogynist. No, wait a second. The people that disagree with you are actually calling out very legitimate errors that you have. Pokimane wants you to think that she's perfect. And this has been true for her entire career of making content. Anytime that she comes across criticism, anytime that she thinks that maybe I'm not perfect, that someone's giving me criticism, he reverts to the identity politics of they're a man and I'm a woman, and so I must be oppressed by them. I must be a good person. And what this does is it reveals the fact that she's narcissistic, and reveals the fact that she's, a tool of the radical left, which plays identity politics and Marxist games. But it shows that she's unwilling to improve herself ever. And this is actually an important and technical point, because any member of the radical left doesn't need to improve themselves if they've already given up their identity to the group that bestows upon them virtue. Because there is no way she could even improve as a person, because her as a person already gains all of her virtue as a result of adhering to the left, as a result of saying, I'm a good person because I'm oppressed, because I'm a woman. Even though she is living, and when I say I'm talking about her here, even though she's living the most privileged, easy life of any human in the history of the planet. If you were to line up people and just rank for how easy their lives are, Pokimane is living the easiest life of any human that has ever existed, ever in the world. Probably she's probably the number one person living the easiest life ever, and she wants you to believe that she's a victim. She makes millions of dollars a month from simps and white knights and pathetic men basically simping for her attention. But she wants you to believe that she's a victim. She wants you to believe that her life is hard. Isn't that funny? Oh my God, the people that are calling me out for being narcissistic are misogynists. Anyone that criticizes me is a bad person. Dude, they're not even using sign language. They're not even subtly signaling it. They're basically just telling you. She's telling you, I don't have any ways to improve because I'm already fully bestowed with virtue, counterfeit virtue, of course, by the radical left. It's crazy. It's so insipid. And you notice the way she does her hair and the copious amounts of makeup she wears. She's trying to look younger to gain more influence over the white knights and simps in her chat. I would love to see I'd love to see these pathetic haters with the anime profiles on Twitter defending Pokimane and who they actually are. They're loser beta men that get no attention from women, and so they spend all their day in Pokimane's and Pokimane's censored chat where bro, it's so funny. It's so funny.
From genuinely,
oh look, there's another simp subscribing to her,
talking about their
subscription,
honest opinions,
their honest opinions. Dude, here's the thing. Your honest opinion, it can be honest, but it can still be immoral and wrong. You can give your opinion, Pokimane, but when people disagree with it, it doesn't mean that they're misogynists. When you give your honest opinion and say anyone that signs with Kick is cringe, any person that signs with Kick is sort of deplorable or undesirable, and you make that clear from your tone and your body language, and you know the insipid tone that's oozing out of your overly caked up makeup face, people can criticize you. And when they criticize you, it's not because you're a woman. It's because your opinion is wrong and immoral. That's the reason they disagree with you. And it's so obvious, right? It's so obvious. But if you're a part of the radical left-wing cult, it's not obvious. Because if you're part of the left-wing cult, all that you see is the various divisions that they set up for people to adhere to in order to gain virtue, in order to gain status. That's all that there is there. Objective reality invalidates and disintegrates all of their ideological presuppositions. They're left with nothing. And that's intolerable to the left for numerous reasons, but the most is because it is humiliating for them. It's humiliating for everyone to see that they're frauds. It's humiliating to see Aiden Ross be banned from Twitch for saying there are two gingers, which 98% of people agree with, and then getting signed with Kick for $100 million, and then to see him more popular than ever, and then to see him, you know, hanging out with Andrew Tate, improving his life. They're enraged by all of this because it's markers of objective reality. That's what's going on here. These people are not only delusional, but they're narcissistic, and that's what I want you to understand. I want you to understand that. Like and subscribe, man. Go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, because we don't play identity politics here. We call out truth, we call out the radical leftists, and we call out these games that are played by Marxism in the name of resentment.